Yeah, I think it's just about the spread, I think, and both offensively and defensively. There's a lot of things they've got to work on, Jono, but I guess it's trying to pick. That's the thing for the coaching staff at halftime. You just got to pick one or two. And I think at the moment it is really about that accountability or lack thereof when they're out, when they haven't got the ball. And I think that's the thing they've really got to concentrate on the second half. I'd love to see them just, one-on-one through the midfield, follow them on and off the ground, forward, back, just to teach them where these guys are running. And you can see the difference. When Sydney lose the ball, Hutto, they're instinctive. They automatically go and find a man. It might necessarily be their direct opponent, but they push someone across, they talk, and it's been so much harder for Melbourne to move the ball than it has for the Swans.
Yeah, well, they're trying to put some physical presence out there and display that. Garland getting a bit of a warning from the umpire.
And they've started with Jack Watts back loose again. They did that at the start of the game, John, and I like that. It worked early, and then the Swans, I would be very surprised.
Trying to get across onto him.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'd be surprised if they let that happen, John Longmire and the coaching staff.
But it is smart by Bolton because it gives him a starting position. Takes the loose straight out of the play.
Yeah.
Now Chesky works it into that vicinity. Roberts-Thompson back to McGlynn for a second crack at it. Just over the head of Tommy Walsh. And the Demons in the end content to let it go out. So what are we going to see? Are we going to see a 100-point thrashing, or are we going to see Melbourne show some resilience here and really digging in?
Well, I'm sure Melbourne supporters at home would be hoping the latter, because they really need to. They really need to fly the flag. They need to tackle, chase, harass, and try as hard as they possibly can on an individual basis, and obviously that'll amount to a much better collective effort.
Umpire lets them roll for a while before bringing the whole thing to a halt. Brad Green, hasn't been an easy night for him coming back in. Just the 5 disposals so far. Blears again. Jara just misses Bartram. Sylvia. Good shepherd from McDonald, but he couldn't keep Reid out. And the turnover is affected. Bit of a rare one from McGlynn, but it just opens up the passage for the swashbuckling Jeddah. Longer full forward, Tommy Walsh couldn't quite get the run-up, but gee, battled on gamely, didn't he? Made life difficult for Frawley, waiting till there was teammates arriving, and they did come in numbers in the end. But there's a free kick, and it might be going Walsh's way.
Yeah, that was just super play. That would be really exciting for the Swans coaching group to see that. He worked from behind, Jono, worked all his way. Wasn't a great kick. I think it was from Lewis Jeddah coming in. Great spoil, then got back in front, worked really hard, and got a free kick, and now having a shot at goal.
Well, if he kicks the goal and doesn't come directly off the ground, John Longmire should send the runner out just for that encouragement of winning an important one-on-one contest.
Well, the effort deserved a goal, and unfortunately, as so often happens, doesn't produce one.
Look, he's been pretty solid tonight. He's had 8 disposals, kicked a goal. He hasn't been beaten. That's what I've liked. I mean, Frawley's a really good defender, and he hasn't been beaten. The Swans' key forwards have not been outmarked. They've brought the ball to ground every opportunity and given those mediums and smalls a chance to capitalise and kick the goals.
Bartram gets it back into Watts' hand. Was able to see off a couple and then kick the ball, but not kick the ball where it was intended. And Matner, who's only missed 1 game since he joined the Swans, been a terrific pickup. Smith rolls it up. Bolton, unattended, normally would have marked that. Walsh would have expected him to mark it too, but reacted pretty well. McVeigh has got to wait a while for that, and Grimes, strong stuff through the air, takes the grab on the last line.
He probably should have got a free kick, Bolton. I don't know who it was, but he was running back with the fly of the ball on the Melbourne player and looked like to impede him, but
Jamo wins a free.
He hurt his shoulder there.
Yeah, Jack, he did. That's a poor kick again. Just left the door wide open for the Swans. Melcheski's style interesting as he kicked it across the face, sliding through for a behind.
That could have been the worst kick for a goal,
yes,
Jono.
Just trying to find the cap. Just grubber it inside forward 50 with some speed on the ball and hope for the best.
Rivers wobbles one. Howe. Seems like Melbourne have tried to keep some numbers back in their forward line tonight, haven't they? But now it's a 50. That'll help things. To Howe. So Jarrett and Clark and Peep. He's He's running on and bouncing here. It's like he's played on already, and he can run in how with the momentum. And unfortunately, kicks it behind. I've never seen that before.
Normally, someone does come up to take the mark, or just got the wrong side and off he went.
Well, I don't know. Was Johnson on the mark on the wing and just didn't get back fast enough? I'm not sure.
It's all a little bizarre. So Melcheski. Margin 60 points.
And this is what you want the Demons to be looking at, the coaching staff. They want to be able to stop.
Can't run through the mark while he's playing the ball.
That's a good explanation from the umpire there. But
I actually find that odd as to why is that not a free kick against, or at least a ball? Then if the opposition runs through, it's 50 metres.
Yeah, it should be 50 metres the other way. You've got to go back 50.
I didn't say that.
Like snakes and ladders.
Not a bad option. We might come up with some good rules in this second half.
We might.
The ball in short, knocked away from Jones. Jack.
Yeah, good attack.
That was terrific. Made the play, made the footy his own. Matt Nutt skidding ball, kept it low. And Walsh is up again. And it's a good confidence boost for him.
Yep.
It's actually handy because Sam Reid's been well beaten by McDonald this afternoon. Reid's had no marks, just 4 possessions.
Canterbury gave it back to Melcheski. Now Watts. Just didn't have it cleanly in his hands. Jet up. That was good pressure from Trengove. Blees. They're getting further and further away from goal, though. They need to be positive, and he was a little more positive there, Jones. Blees. And, well, he missed the target, but that mightn't be a bad outlet for them to get it out, and they can set up.
Well, it's a messy passage of play, John, but that's better from Melb. At least they didn't allow the Swans to get out and run and spread.
Well, Blees finding plenty of the ball with 9 in disposals. And you're right, because McDonald has done a wonderful job on Reid tonight.
Keefe and Jetta and Parker and Smith collaborating beautifully. Bolton just delayed the handball, which meant Johnson was inside the 50. He had all the time to line up the Skittles, but he misses.
That stoppage before was the story of the night. The Swans once again got their hands free around the stoppages, hit some nice short handballs out the back, eventually a nice pass to Jude Bolton. It should have been an easy goal from Johnson there.
So McKenzie just took a bit off the kick to set it up for Howe. Couldn't quite. Jack whisks it into the 50. Good spoil. And again, it was Blees who's been a bright light for them, but it's going to go Sydney's way. Melcheski, well-placed ball into the forward line, and again Tommy Walsh takes the grab.
That was a great mark from Tommy Walsh, but that's probably just a little bit disappointing from Watts. He's had a really nice game. I've liked it tonight. He's had 20 disposals, but this is where he's got to make sure in a man-on-man, one-on-one contest, where he probably had a little bit of an advantage there coming over the back, but it's a really nice mark from Tommy Walsh.
For his second goal, that'll do it.
Keep him on the ground, Roosie. He's worked quite well so far in this game, and he's had a great start to the third quarter. But it's a kick of Melcheski. Look at that, the vision there, just to put it to the advantage side of his teammate, just to put the percentages in his favour, to take the lead, find the drop zone of the ball, and take a nice grab.
And then just to the right, you see Marty Mountain and Tom Walsh, well done. Ty Kennelly gave him his jump, but that's Nick Davis. Who would have ever thought Nick Davis would be a runner? He didn't run during the game, and now he's become an AFL runner. He would run about 10 times more, Jono, now than he ever did in a game of football.
And did he ever listen to the messages you sent?
No, he did not. It's how ironic is that, Hutter?
The only time he used to run was when he did see the runner coming.
Now, is that deliberate? I'm afraid it is. Yeah, it is. Please. Caught red-handed.
Play on!
McVeigh adjusts to the call, sets it up. O'Keefe and Morton lock arms. Reid, Bolton, O'Keefe. Jetta. Central ball, Big Mike's there, but so is Parker.
Well, that's, again, there's lots of stories for the Swans at 79-12, but that's, again, the story of the Demons, Jono. That ball is a balloon ball going up and under from, it's about 15, 20 metres out from goal, and really that's an uncontested mark from Luke Parker.
What a find he's proved to be for the Swans. 11 disposals, already 2 goals. You can chalk up another one for Parker. And the Swans lead by 73 points. 2 quick goals.
And we'll see it here. Here it is. Nice handball at the back from really good support. Look at this. Balloon ball straight up in the air. Plenty of time. Uncontested mark.
Maloney.
I think Maloney was his direct opponent. Just no effort whatsoever again to get back. And no good swearing afterwards, Jono.
No, that's right. I like the discipline of Jeddah, though, to centre the ball when the side's 60-odd points up.
Parker 3 goals. There he is, Nick Davis.
There's Nick Davis. Look at him. He's actually looking in pretty good nick, Dave. He does some work for the Swans Academy as well, so
Might want to make a comeback.
we keep him in pretty good shape.
Beautiful bounce in the middle. Jamar Kennedy has wrestled away, but he's never out of it. And here's Reid. Now he's been a bit of a mystery really, Rosie, this year. Is he fully fit? Has he been battling with anything? Because he just hasn't been able to get to the footy.
No, that's the key, I think. Hutto. Even tonight, we haven't really seen a lot of one-on-one contests with him, have we?
Not at all. Just 4 disposals for the night. It's a pretty nice strike, but it's just drifting when it counted. That's a behind.
It is a young player who, after his summer and some of his pre-season games, the whole focus for the opposition is stop Reid first. So therefore, he's just having to deal with that, and it'll take 12 months or so.
How did he do that?
You don't play on after a mark like that. You do not play on after a mark like that. You go back, Jono.
So the replay can be shown.
You've got to go back and take your kick and hold the ball in the air and pull your socks up. You do not play on, son.
Oh my goodness, we've got to get that up and show it. Got to show it 10 or 11 times, I reckon.
Here I am talking about Sam Reid.
Thanks, Jono. Here's the lead from Green. He takes the mark.
50 metres.
And 50. So Melbourne will get their second goal.
He was pushed after he marked it straight into Mata coming
Have you ever seen someone so horizontal for so long? There's Howe.
I had a bird's eye view of that. That was an unbelievable push off after he took the mark as well.
Yeah. So here we go. Oh. Green puts it through. Melbourne's second goal on the board.
What about the degree of difficulty on the landing? Brad Green's kicked the goal, but no one really cares, to be honest. Including the three in the commentary box. Let's have another look. And here it is
Here we
again.
go.
That is a fantastic mark. And that's a great mark. Well done. Heath Grundy held him up there for a little while and then tried to dump him.
Without the dismount being the way it was, it would have just been a really good mark, but he turned it into an absolute ripper.
I just can't believe he played on, John. That's just
that one, I
cardinal.
can't see that.
I can't believe the Swans bench were all clapping.
We all were. So Melbourne kicked a goal anyway. A bit of respite for the Demons. And here's a good grab from Watts taking the Jack kick. Jack with 21 disposals. Keith slowed down a bit. He's had 24 for the game so far.
Certainly look far better with that loose player back. I know it sounds a little bit silly when they're 13 goals to 2 down, but Hutto, they have played their better footy when Jack Watts has been free behind play. He's had 21 disposals. He's filled the hole nicely at times, and it's when the Swans have manned him up that they've looked the most dangerous.
And there he is again, cutting across. Unfortunately for the Demons fans, it's a free to LRT. Free against Jared Rivers. Free kick count 13 to 10 in favour of the Swans. So here's Roberts-Thompson. Oh.
I was just going to say he's not a bad kick for goal. And I didn't say it. So scrap that one. I didn't say it. I don't. I think the Tools have done their job for the Swans. They haven't had Lewis Roberts-Thompson had a nice game, 13. Now, Reid hasn't had to do a lot. We talked about Walsh before. Pikey's only had to 5, but they've done what they've had to do. Pike's been really good in the ruck. He's been competitive, and the 3 tall forwards have just been competing and allowed the small and medium types to kick the goals.
Oh, suddenly there's a world of pain there for Grimes, and it ain't over yet. Frawley gets it back to him, and they're still not out of peril quite yet. McVeigh, and it's out of bounds.
It's just been relentless in that part of the ground down there, Pickers. They've been terrific, the Swans, when they've stopped the Melbourne team from bringing it outside 50, and once again, they've just been really spot on with their defensive stuff.
And really hurt them in transition as well.
So margin sits at 68. Jack to the voice. Good follow-up from Shaw. Jones hems him in. And we've seen a holding the ball play. What do you know? There's Jones. Escaping, kicking it up onto the wing. Sylvia tried to bust a bit of a move. Got it out, but coughed it straight up to Shaw. The little nonchalant no-look to Bolton. They're building again. Desperate stakes. Good stuff from Magna. Gets it safely over the line. Here's the coach. Didn't like the play on either, is he?
I tell you, exactly right. He would have been thinking, just hold the ball up, son. Have your moment. Probably not thinking that, what I was thinking, but I think it was a bit more game plan for Mark. Yeah. But why handball? Handball boundary side, that's the game plan stuff. He takes a nice mark, but handball and boundary side and playing on when you probably just want to control the tempo.
To a teammate with his back to their own goals.
Yeah.
He was flat-footed.
Lee Brown's getting an interesting initiation into assistant coaching too, isn't he? Sitting in the hot spot next to Mark Neild.
He certainly is.
Choco Royal's seen plenty over the journey. He's also there. Here's Jones with a skyscraper back to the middle of the ground. Tough one to grab, and the man for the moment was Brad Green. Jones tries to wheel his way through. A nice little sidestep on Bolton. Took him into the middle, but then there was some trouble. His hurried kick opens the door for any number of players. Dennis Lane applies a tackle on McDonald. Frawley leads the back up. Maybe leg, maybe not. Bartram, Jenner hunted him. High. For Bartram's ball.
This is an important kick. Swans have got Marty Matner back in the hole there, and he's very good at rolling off and helping out his defenders.
Sets it up. Clark. He just hasn't had enough contests to compete in tonight, really. He tries to take them all on, and he's gone.
That's a great tackle from Ryan O'Keefe. Story of the night. Attacking the Swans has been terrific. The accountability. And you're right with Clark. You've got to feel for him because he's actually a forward in form, Hutto, but they're just not getting the ball.
So they ran him in the ruck last week for quite a bit. He's had a couple of...
Free kick to Sydney Swans. It's an abuse free kick to Sydney Swans. Yep, back here.
So an abuse free kick.
Time back on, guys.
Canterbury bombs it. Dennis Lane, he's off. And taking the mark in the pocket, much to the joy and delight of the fans down there in that part of the ground. Now we get a good view at this over the shoulder of Trent Dennis Lane. Came on as the sub last week. As David King told us. Or nearly told us.
Great Trent Allen.
You've got to mention some of the great hyphens over the years, but Dennis Lane has got his mind on the job of trying to secure a place in this Sydney team, and that'll help his cause.
He's a really lively medium forward, Trent Dennis Lane. He's got good pace. He can actually mark it over here. This is a really nice kick from Hanbury here. Puts it out in front, summed it up beautifully. A lovely kick.
And I guess, Rosie, with Gary Rowan out of the team and Lewis Jetta playing further up the ground, it gives Dennis Lane a bit of an opening, doesn't it?
It does. There's no question about that. He can kick some goals. He's a very smart player. As I said, he can catch it. He's a good crummer. Nice finish there by Dennis Lane.
You did highlight at half-time with your own view, the Roos view, that Sydney were able to get in behind, and that's exactly what happened again on that occasion. Dennis Lane able to then work hard behind the defence of Melbourne and get a set shot of goal, a tough set shot of goal, but he was good enough to nail it.
Creative by Reid, McVeigh, and they power on in. Ad-libbing was Kennedy. He went with it, and he's kicked it out on the full, but you could see what he was trying to do.
I think if we look at the forward 50 entries of both teams, Jono, every time the ball goes in Melbourne's 50, there's always a Marty Mattner rolling off, or a Teddy Richards helping, or a Grundy. They've got a great synergy between their back six, whereas Melbourne don't seem to have that. It's really just one-on-one. It's almost like every man for himself. I'll follow him up in the midfield, and I'll follow him back. And, you know, as I said, they looked a lot better with Watts down there, just filling that hole and filling the space.
So they rally around some more, and the exit kick from Smith takes them up to half forward. One-on-one, Blees and Jetta. Good little contest, but Jetta stayed longer. Blees had the last say with the smother. Watts just farming it around the D's, trying to create some run. The call from Jones was a little ambitious. Sylvia handballed him right back into the maze of trouble.
Well, the tackling of the Swans has been a highlight all night, as has the ability of the younger Swans players. And you speak of Tommy Walsh in his first game, and we see Jetta on that occasion winning the one-on-one ball when it needed to be won in a contest, tough and harder than their direct opponent.
Melcheski launches. Big Mike Pike arrived late, put a little bit of pressure on, but the Demons through Watts, just caresses the ball out for Bartram. He went to ground. Walsh also lost his footing, and now it's the umpire's call.
59 tackles to 42. And sometimes it's bad to actually tackle, but for Swans, most of the tackles have been really quick transition tackles. As soon as the Melbourne have got the ball, if they've missed the first one, there's someone on the second one. So, yeah, it's really been a smashing in that department, 59 to 42.
Sylvia. Maloney's lost a boot. Ball is over and out. What have you made of Colin Sylvia's game tonight, Brucey? 10 disposals, 6 contested possessions.
I give him the benefit of the doubt. I don't think he's fit yet. I mean, he missed a fair bit of footy after that NAB Cup injury. So and that's always the fine line with a good player. How long do you leave him in the seconds for? And maybe in hindsight, Jono, they probably could have left him in the seconds a bit more. Because if you do miss time as a footballer, and I don't think he's a naturally super fit runner, and I think that's a problem for him. So give him a bit more time to settle in the seconds.
Aaron Davey, who hasn't had a lot to do in this quarter. Jones. And it's away to the left.
Well, you mentioned Davey. He's only had the 3 disposals for the game, so credit has to go to Reece Shaw, who's been his direct opponent pretty much since the start of the game, just to take him completely out of this contest tonight.
Inside 50 count, by the way, 48 to 24, so they've doubled them. And on the scoreboard, they lead by 73, and they're bolting forward again. Jack engaged Jones just at the right moment. Timing is everything, and Jack had it nailed to perfection.
And once again, we're seeing the Swans. We see it here. Watch Kieran Jack there, Jones. Kieran Jack versus Jones, running back into the forward 50 again. Jones very poor once again, and a goal. They've got that all night, Jono, just running back, just a really slight bump. I mean, you've got to be a lot better than that if you're a midfielder. He's a solid boy, Jones, and poor effort.
So the tile is mounting now, isn't it, as we get towards the latter stages of the third quarter. Another 4 goals to 1 term in favour of the Swans, and the margin up to 79 points. And there's more time for more carnage. And the Swans are intent on that. Parker really probing, deep ball to full forward. Good spoil from Rivers. Watts did a good job to stay afloat there. Garland, pressure from McGlynn was terrific, and it made all the difference.
Pressure with speed. That's the difference right there. We see when Jack was able to kick his goal before. It was Reece Shaw coming through the middle with no one chasing from behind. It's that sort of pressure that's required to be elite.
Hanbury not on the goal-kicking list tonight, and still not with a team-orientated decision there. And we're going to have a ball up 30 metres out from goal.
What was the worst period for you as a player, John? Has there anything been similar when you were at the Bulldogs and anything that changed it around?
Instantly you think of 96. We struggled, we just beat Fitzroy in 96. So we finished 15th on the ladder. But then the following year, 97, we make a preliminary final, and it was the same list of players. So that's probably the similarities there in the fact that the floggings that Melbourne's copped, we copped as a Bulldog side in 1996. The turnaround can be quick, but I'm just not sure whether whether Melbourne side has got that ability to turn it around that quick.
Jetta sensed there was a chance to go all the way, and there was that chance. And that is unbelievable. Another cardinal sin.
Yeah, well, that is a cardinal sin, Hunter. You mentioned that. There's got to be in that situation, you've got to have a defender behind. You have a lot of support in front as we see the ball coming in. There's probably 3 or 4 Melbourne players within 20 metres. As you can see it here, there's got to be a Melbourne player that has got to go behind there. And no one on the line. You've got Jack Watts as a loose player, so you've got to work your loose player in front, which gives you confidence as a defender to stand behind. So
there was no one on the mark.
Exactly.
And no one on the line.
You picked it up as well, Hardo.
Oh, boy, it's going to be a long edit tape again, isn't it, this week for Mark Neeld and the Demons. And it's 85 points now, and it's getting to massacre stage, and we're not even at three-quarter time yet. Roberts-Thompson slipping over Reid. Rebounds back. There's plenty of Melbourne players around the circle. Magna did well, didn't panic.
It's a trick. He's tackling him by the leg. Magna. Melbourne free kick for a trick.
well, at the moment, however, the concern is there's just nothing to suggest that they're going to turn it around, is there? There's nothing at all. You mentioned before, they've forward 50 entries. They've had 24. That's it. It's very hard to score if you're not getting the ball in the forward 50. So
every week you look at this Melbourne team and you think, oh, well, the team... And you can't help thinking of previous form of some of the individuals, and you think, well, they could be competitive today. They had a more potent-looking forward line coming in today, but it just...
Look, you're absolutely right, Hunter. The names are there. Jack Watts, #1 draft pick. Frawley, I think, was an All-Australian defender. Jones, best and fairest.
And they're the right age for it.
Yeah,
look at the profile of their list, and it all looks good.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's just so hard. Unless you're inside that football club, and that's where it's really hard. We can always make comments as media commentators, Jono, but unless you're inside the football club, you really don't know exactly what's going on.
But do you think they do? Do they know what's going wrong?
I think the coach would know. Now, there's knowing what's going wrong and there's knowing how to fix it, because it's the players out in the ground that are going to fix it. You can have as many team meetings, Jono, as you want, and you can go through it on the board, you can go through it at training, but unless you're prepared to put that on the weekend and implement those strategies. At the moment, the Melbourne players are just simply not prepared to do what the coach has asked them to do, and that was the same under Dean Bailey.
But he said that at quarter time. It was about walkthroughs at training during the week, and then tonight, early on, especially not being able to execute the plans that were put in place.
Kieran Jack, he's had a big night. 25 disposals, servicing Jetta. And Reid just starting to find it a little bit in this quarter, or getting there or thereabouts.
Well, this is a good game for Sam Reid now, because you start to work your way in, you start to get yourself a little bit of form. Yeah, it'd be nice to see him kick a goal here, and then you come out of this game feeling good about yourself again.
J-Mar's getting back to the goal line, which is a start.
Well, it's on its way. Not going to quite make it. Morton has coughed it up a fraction. Quick kick from Garland, good instinctive play to Green, who's had to come a long way up the ground to find the yellow Sharon.
I mean, Pickers, you're an ex-player manager. Do you get a feel from inside that football club at all?
No, not really, Roosie. I mean, I deal with a lot of the coaches, and they're friends of mine, but look, there just seems to be something wrong inside that footy club, unfortunately.
Here's Mike Pike, the big Canadian, has the flying shot.
I know there's certainly an emphasis on defence when Mark Neeld took over, but
Too much so, perhaps?
Well, I'm not sure if it's too much because I think they were freewheeling last year, and that's why we had those results where they'd win by 90 and lose by 90. You know what I mean? So I think they had to strip it all back to basics. But the problem is I don't see anything. I'm hearing the blokes on the ground. I'm not seeing 1 ounce of leadership out there at the moment. I'm sorry.
I think the other thing too is, guys, this is on the back of a coach getting fired at the end of the year after 100 and whatever point drubbing. So this is not just about Mark Neal. This is about Dean Bailey as well. This is about the player group, not about the coaching group.
Grundy takes the mark.
Well, I think that's the biggest concern, though. As I say, when you're at ground level like I am at the moment, you can get a feel for where the teams are on, and not one bit of voice around the stoppages. No leadership, no direction.
Look, I feel for Trengove and Grimes. I just think that the position they're in now as captains of the Melbourne Football Club, having to, one, be young and concern themselves about their own game and their own development, but now the team and where it's at as well, dragging them in and trying to inspire the group in some sort of fashion, be taking a toll on the two young captains.
Well, I'm certainly not pointing the finger at those two young blokes.
No,
I don't
saying
think
they
need to do it. I think there are enough experienced players out in this ground at the moment that are making fundamental errors, that aren't playing what I would consider basic football, which is lock on your man, at least for a little period.
Clark goes to Bartram.
I don't see the leadership. I don't feel the leadership just looking at the group.
Do you go back to a West Coast who finished 15th and 16th 2 years in a row, then all of a sudden it clicks Roosie in?
Well, I guess
Is that what we grab onto for this Melbourne side, that in 2 years' time it could click for them?
Yeah, look, but they had a lot of injuries to their senior players, West Coast, didn't they? That was probably the biggest difference. They got Embley back, they got Cox fit and healthy, they got Kerr fit and healthy. I'm just not sure there's those players at the Melbourne Football Club at the moment.
All right, what we do know is they've only kicked 2 goals tonight, the Demons. It's a sad tale. We saw a big hanger from Jeremy Howe. That was the only bright spot because the Swans lead by 86 points.
Just playing the ground the way they know best, and that normally sides try and get their forward line to hold position, but Sydney have been able to get most of their forwards up and then work back the other way with some genuine speed.
All right, it's all there. Last quarter, 16-9 to 2-7. Jack tried to kickstart them out of the middle. Trengove looking for help from behind. Good tackling from Hanbury to lock it in. Roberts, Thompson and Walsh also lassoed them. Pike, Bolton. Back into the congestion.
Just got to try for some little wins, and I mean, they just got to win this last quarter and at least get something. If this blows out over 100, Jono, I mean, it's bad enough as it is, but they really need to fight this last quarter.
Bolton takes it out wide. Walsh, please. It's almost out. Let's see if he's content with that. No, he decides to be proactive. Of course, that left a dangerous opening for the Swans, which they've gladly taken. Bolton, he's also missed the man.
Well, that's twice now he's been looking for a quick release. Bolton, he just hasn't had a teammate there to give a quick give to.
See, Sylvia took them on a fraction. No free kick paid, but it all ends pretty well for the Swans anyway. Roberts Thompson takes the mark, just on the brink here. About 60 from goal. Melbourne 3 converge on it. Bartram takes the grab. Down to Liam.
We've talked a lot about, obviously, Melbourne's deficiencies tonight, and there's been plenty of those, but Johnny Long might be very, very happy with his midfield spread. 3 goals to Jack, 3 to Jetta, 3 to Parker, a couple to Joey Kennedy as well. I mean, they'd be very, very happy with that side of their game.
And Picker's activated the sub.
I just missed you then, Jono. So
I said they activated the sub, the Ds.
They have. I haven't actually picked up who it is that they've actually subbed out. I think it's Cale Morton,
Yep,
but I just need to get a closer look. And I've got the Swan supporters in my ear here.
Rhino keeper's push. Free kick.
Well, there's pressure on you guys down there to get the names right now, Liam.
Honestly, every time you talk to me at the moment, Hutto, there are about 5 drunk blokes behind me yelling in my ear.
I just see what a terrific bloke you are. Parker goes short. Do you agree with that, Liam?
Well, I didn't hear it again. They're actually timing it beautifully down here.
Bolton keeps it low. Here's Roberts Thompson. So early stages of this final term.
2 metres.
There's Roberts Thompson. That looks nice too.
That's a
Reid.
good kick, yeah.
She's been a real bonus for them in this last quarter, Reid. Last 30 minutes or so.
Yeah, this will be pleasing the Swans coaching staff no end. Sammy Reid can end up with, 12 or 13 possessions and maybe sneak a goal, Jono, or two in the last quarter. Then he starts to work his way back into some form.
And that looks like it's online. Great strike from Reid.
He looks just in the second half, though, to be getting to the right spots. The first half, we didn't see a lot of him one-on-one with his opponent or even on the lead, but he's certainly got a lot more involved. And this is a nice kick from Lewis Roberts-Thompson here. Beautiful. Just too much space, though. There's no support there, no mids pushing back from the Demons. And at the end, it's a easy mark. But a really nice finish. His kicking's let him down at times, but this is a really nice finish.
His work rate all night has been quite high. Just that first half wasn't able to get his hands on the ball, but if you continue that work rate and don't drop your head and continue to work and run to the right spots, it will turn.
So Bennell the sub, as we mentioned. Here's Blease. 23 possessions to his name tonight. Sylvia. A rare entry into the 50 straight out of the stoppage and centre stoppage for the D's. From the front end of the square rather than having to go around the back or the side, and got it in quick.
Well, that was the umpire 50 metres away that had the best view of that, so made the right call, helped his fellow umpire out.
Nathan Jones. And that looks pretty fair also, so 3 goals on the night for the D's.
Jones has had 18 or 19 possessions and kicked 2 goals. So I think the main problem is some numbers for the Melbourne guys. Blease 24th. Here it is, just a bit of a sloppy tackle, which is unusual for Nick Smith. He's probably one of the better tacklers in the competition, but certainly in the Swans. But they've got some numbers through the midfield, but they're just defensive accountability for the Melbourne mids has been pretty ordinary tonight.
Thing Melbourne tonight, their uncontested possession count has increased significantly on what they've usually been putting out, Rosie. I mean, they've been smashed in that area this year by huge numbers, but tonight they're pretty much on level terms with the Swans with the uncontested possession. Now, I guess in fairness to that, Swans aren't a massively high uncontested team either, are they? But
yeah, there's been an effort though to spread the ball around. There's no question they've at least tried to hit free players, have tried to get it out into the open, but the Swans' accountability has just been so good. And I think the other thing for Melbourne, they haven't done a lot of inside 50s, but when they have, their last kick inside forward 50 has been pretty ordinary too. It hasn't given their forwards a chance.
Rosie, you know Johnny Longmire obviously very well. Show a little bit of compassion, put Craig Bird on by now, wouldn't it?
You would have thought so. You would have thought so.
He's wearing out the carpet here in front of me. He's been running up and down and up and down.
He hasn't done a calf or anything warming up, has he, Pickers?
He's desperate to get on.
He might be going for the first. Actually, someone coming off now. No, he's still got the green on, hasn't he?
Well, it couldn't be too long.
He'd almost just grab someone on the bench now, wouldn't you? Just rip it off.
Sometimes it gets so late that it's almost not worth it, is it, coming on. McVeigh. It's a little wobbly. In fact, it's a lot wobbly. And it's out on the full.
Well, what he will be doing is some run-throughs after the game as well. We've seen in the past Andreas Everett come on late as a sub and then have to go out on his own and complete some run-throughs around the centre square with the stopwatch on.
Nice mark.
Roberts-Thompson. There's hands up everywhere inside the 50, both defensively and also the forwards calling for it. He rolls the dice. Reid couldn't get to that one. And you can see that Rivers had it covered. Oh, Watts sold into trouble, was good enough to get out of it. And Howe takes it out to Bennell.
It wouldn't be that flash, would it, when you play a game and then you have to go and do some training afterwards, would you? I remember Waverley one year, Robert Shaw made us run 10 laps after we'd finished a practice game. And the worst part about it was the seconds played after us on that particular day. So there was a game on and we were running about at 10 laps at Waverley, which is about 800 metres around. It's that big.
Sounds like you've never really forgiven him for it.
No, it's always method in it, Hutto, for those coaches. I could never work it out at the time. Then I became a coach and I realised I'm still not sure about that one, though.
McDonald, oh, there's a little intercept. Just the window open for McGlynn, and he saw it coming. Takes the mark. And that's a delicate operation, which is successful. Dennis Lane happy to slide comfortably, knowing there's enough of a gap over the line. You can see what's ahead of him. It's just a nice little sneak out, perhaps open up the angle.
Stay with me until I call it. Stay with me.
He's really facing away from goal. Just working it out his head. And the rest is history. Nice goal.
I like that setup.
So 92 points is the margin. They've done it without Mumford and without Adam Goods. And we checked in with Adam Goods to find out just how he's faring.
Yeah, look, I've had 2 weeks now where I've just sort of had complete rest, and we'll start running on Monday, which I'm, obviously biting at the bit to get out there and just have a run and see what it feels like. But yeah, it's a bit unusual, mate, but every season throws up a new challenge.
I'll tell you what's really important for this game for the Swans, which we haven't talked about, is percentage. Percentage is going to play a huge part at the end of the year, particularly with the somewhat lopsided draw if you're playing the bottom teams twice. So this is really important for the Swans to keep going and maybe stretch this lead even further, particularly with Melbourne only scoring 3 goals at this particular stage. This could be huge for their percentage and might make a difference, Jono. Top 4 at the end of the year.
Definitely will make a difference.
Yeah, you've got to make them count, don't you? And you've got the opposition on the ropes, which is we're well and truly beyond that right now.
I think they're over the ropes, aren't they?
Swans percentage is 125 going into today, so it'll get a huge boost from here. Kenzie, fairly labour-intensive again, the Demons, as they share it around and get themselves clear. Watts, possession 30. Bit of tunnel ball action, and eventually the turnover is complete. O'Keefe, and that's well placed. McGlynn, just going through the motions. What about that? He's conceived it and executed it in a flash.
I think even Benny McGlynn's a little bit embarrassed about that, Jono.
That's great. I love the kick off the ground.
Look, he wants to take that back. He's probably going.
No, he doesn't.
You reckon?
No, he doesn't.
Here he goes.
He doesn't want to take it back.
Look at this. This is hit and hope. That's come off the instep.
Fantastic.
I can't even describe that kick. That's not even in the book. That one.
Close your eyes, throw the boot at it and see what happens, Rusey.
I suppose they all count for 6. Doesn't matter how. But that goal was really set up by the Swans' pressure again. But Melbourne just haven't been able to get it out of their defensive 50 with any sort of fluency. Particularly, they haven't been able to run through the corridor. They've just tried to chip it around. The Swans have closed them down just about every time.
Well, I reckon Melbourne fans are left in no doubt that the coach is feeling the pain as well. I mean, I think you want to see that as a fan, but it's an anguished coach, isn't it, at the moment? He's doing it really tough. And the Swans lead is out to 98 now. Green, Jarrah's had no impact really since half-time.
I think it's a good point, Hutto, because we're not here to smash Mark Neal. This is on the back of, make that clear, this is on the back of Dean Bailey getting the sack with 6 or 7 rounds last year with a shocking performance down at Skilled Stadium. So this is 2 coaches in a row where this player group really needs to have a good hard look at themselves, where they're heading with their careers and where they're taking this football club.
Well, the question you've got to ask is, are those guys that we all thought were going to become star AFL players actually up to it?
Yeah, it's a fair point, Pickers.
Well, we're seeing they're all nice junior players, but a hell of a big difference between playing junior footy and running around and playing AFL footy against seasoned professionals.
The only thing is they did win 8 games last year. I know we've talked about how they went about it, but I mean that's just a massive difference between where they were at and where we thought they were at to where they are now.
Oh, good news for Craig Bird. He's about to come on. Alex Johnson's been sub, boys.
11 and a half minutes of footy.
All right, they're sitting on 98 points at the moment. Davey couldn't quite hold them in their tracks that time. Shaw that's a well-placed ball as well. Big Pike takes the ball, and not completely cleanly, but Reid. Melbourne get some numbers to the contest to slow things down. Kennedy, everywhere he looked there, Swans. Bird.
Touch, play on yours, touch.
Quick kick, McGlynn. Little sneaky manoeuvre. Can't get away from Mitch Clark, who's screaming for a free for holding the ball. Doesn't come his way. Dennis Lane. And now Watts, who's reached his PB here. It was previously 27. He's now had 33 touches, has Jack Watts. So that's something perhaps to hang the hat on. There's not much else.
No, I think Watts, Blease, McDonald tonight have certainly been the three major players for Melbourne.
Maybe dislocated his finger.
Oh, yeah, right on the end.
Play on.
High ball from Jones. Let's see how Jara is coping with it. Off the pack, Sylvia bouncing, and it's through. I think Jara's coming off.
Yeah, he's feeling a lot of pain, is Jarrah, but it was the first time tonight that Melbourne forwards have been able to beat the Sydney defenders back in and be first to the drop of the ball after a high ball kick in. We see there Sylvia in good position, good front and centre, and a good finish to match.
He wasn't in poor position, Grundy, there on Sylvia, but it was a really nice take from Sylvia. Good clean hands off the front of the pack, and that's where you want him to be, and a good finish around the corner.
We know he's had that wrist injury, Jara, but as we saw, it just looked like a little finger issue, which so little it can cause a lot of pain. O'Keefe, he's up to 30 touches now as they line up. Reid had a bit of it. There's Tommy Walsh. Kennedy. Good determination from the Demons, but even better from Kennedy. Hanbury, how did he get through there? It's the post.
Yeah, you're right, we saw Joey Kennedy get up and walk out. He actually was on the ground, got up, walked out, then we saw Hanbury break through a pretty ordinary tackle as well. So they still need to just really fight this out, the Demons.
Yep, it's critical.
Kieran Jack's had a huge night, hasn't he? He had 31 possessions and 3 goals. Ryan O'Keefe, 30 possessions, a goal. Dan Henry, 30. Lewis Jetta, 21 and 3 goals.
And Nick Malcheski's had 17. And that's his second behind. So it's 94 points the difference.
You're right, to Smalls. You add Parker with 3 goals as well.
Yeah.
As Dennis Lane with another 2. All the mid-size and smalls for the Swans with the multiple goals tonight, getting in behind the defence of Melbourne.
We were talking a couple of weeks ago about how good that was for the Swans, that they had 6 or 7 midfielders that were pretty much averaging a goal a game or more.
Yeah, look, we've talked a lot about tonight, the Demons, how poor they've been, but the Swans have been really, really good tonight. Their pressure's been outstanding, their clearance work by Pike's given them a real contest in the ruck. I think their tools, both ends, have been good. Grundy and Matner down one end. Walsh, Reid's worked his way into us. Lewis Roberts Thompson's been good. And the midfield dominance has been exceptional. So they've ticked a lot of boxes tonight. John Longmore and the coaching staff will be very happy going away from this game.
O'Keefe to Matner. Guiding ball to Reid, who's really up and about now. He kept on coming, did Marty Matner, and that's a thumping kick that goes all the way. And the 100 is up.
Well, Roosy, the one thing that we used to talk about with Collingwood when they were absolutely flying for the last 3 years is they'd have 10-plus goal kickers per game. And if you can get that every single week, then you're going well. West Coast are getting to that level now where they get 10 or so goal kickers a game. Sydney starting now this season to be able to produce that as well with another 10 goal kickers on the board tonight.
That's what's ahead for the Sydney Swans before the bye. The Saints, the Dogs and the Bombers. So nothing really simple about that.
And this is the best time to be an AFL coach, Hutto, when you're 100 points up, there's 10 minutes to go in the game. this is the absolute best time to coach. apart from winning a grand final, of course.
Marty Mattner took them into the 50 again. Oh, and they're coming from all angles.
Did he sit
Garland
back?
feeling it.
Did he sit back, Bruzy, eat a few more snakes?
Yeah, the chest gets pumped out a little bit. One of the few times.
You do. And on the other side of it's the worst time for the other coaching group.
Because have a look at that. What's the come for?
Well, you're trying to get Carlton, Essendon and Collingwood. It's just a horrendous run the next three games. But what Mark, the Orton coach, is trying to do now is formulate what they're going to say after a game. You're already thinking about the next week. You're already thinking about the aftermatch. Do you talk to the players or don't you talk to the players? How are you going to set up your week?
Well, that month ahead was just horrific. Before today, they'd only played 2 sides inside the top 8, and now it's 3 with the Swans. So there's probably worse to come.
And a good, saw Tommy Walsh, good debut. I reckon, John, been really solid for him. 14 possessions, 2 goals.
6
they'd
marks.
be really happy. 6 marks. They'd be really happy with his efforts.
And it was important because you look at the guys playing in the reserves. There's Spanger, there's Jesse White, a couple of tools that we're looking to play senior footy over the next few weeks.
It was a well-placed kick, but all the Melbourne players were not where the ball landed. And it was way too easy inside the forward 50. And how many times have we said that tonight? Dave was saying there was some interference, I think.
Well, there was no interference in the 4 blokes who stand in the goal square for the Demons.
Boys, we're going to have to clear out on the side.
Maybe overreacting to what happened earlier, and they're all getting back on the line, and they're just adjusting the kick.
Maybe they couldn't jump over the chalk on the ground there at the 10-metre.
Yeah, here's Kennedy, and that's another one. Chalk it up.
Yeah, there's so many really bad signs of lack of effort. Joey Kennedy's really worked his way into the game. He's had 18 possessions and 3 goals. Look at it here. This is, I mean, it's a bit of a balloon ball. Not a bad kick from Trent Densplain, but look, yeah, there's 4 Sydney Swans players there.
David's got
Not
no
one.
chance.
Have a look at this. There's 4 of them. Don't worry about the block from Jude Bolton. There's actually, could have gone over the top to Luke Park. He would have marked on his chest anyway.
$106 now. Crowd of 20,000 here at the SCG tonight. 3 goals for Kennedy, 3 goals for Parker, for Jack and for Jenner. Sylvia dishes off to Jones, who's still having a crack. Rivers tries to measure it off for Magna. He sweeps onto the ball. Just the 13 disposals tonight for James Magna. Sends this one Sylvia's way, but Marty Mattner playing in front and got some good assistance from Melcheski initially.
And that's a similar ball, Hutto, that went in the other end. Marty Mattner's in front and stops that from scoring.
Bird was also a link in the chain. Reid, and this man kept on running. Shaw takes himself to half forward into McGlynn. Might as well keep going. Now he decides to go back and measure off the shot for goal. And he can pack a punch, so the distance shouldn't be a major drama. He's shaping as if he wants to lay it off. 2 goals to his name. He could become the 5th goal kicker to kick 3 goals. That wouldn't have happened in too many matches. And it hasn't happened here yet. It's Jamar. He was half a step away from another major calamity for the Demons.
Waiting. Play on.
So 106 is the division at the moment between Sydney and Melbourne. Reid didn't quite do enough. There's McDonald to Jarrah. He's had the running repairs done, but it hasn't helped too much as Bird powers on towards goal. Parker from one side, Jamar from the other. The smaller man almost won. Now Frawley's claimed.
I'm not sure why that's not a mark. I'd like to see it again.
Parker's asking the umpire.
I just didn't quite see it.
You say I didn't see it?
Yeah.
Well, that's fair enough. I don't mind that explanation.
It's the coverall.
Hey, no, it's okay. If you didn't see it, just say you didn't see it. That's fine.
But there is 2 other umpires. I'm not saying it was definitely a mark, but there's 2 other umpires out there.
Yeah, no, you're right.
We're all right, Melbourne 3. Advantage.
And Blease takes that and charges off with a couple. No, he saw that it was Jeddah coming at him and he thought he better kick it. Sylvia There's no one in the square. A couple of shorter options. Bennell worked hard to get into the right spot, and he takes the mark.
That's what they haven't had, and Blease provided that then. They haven't really had... He's had 26 possessions, Blease. They really haven't had a runner off half-back that could break the lines. You know, he's maybe one that could do it. 26 disposals. He looked really, really promising.
50. Bring it 50. Abuse. Abuse. 50 metres.
Got a bit of abuse.
Abuse. Against who, mate? Who's it against? It's against Sydney. It's a 50-metre penalty. No, mate. He swears directed at me. Just demonstrative. I'm going to play for a kick. He didn't. Talk about Donald. I don't appreciate being talked to like that. I want to talk to
That's a bit of a sideshow.
Yeah,
Abuse, he said. Against McKay.
good explanation from the umpire, so we all understand the reasoning behind the 50. And it's one thing that shouldn't be tolerated, so
Yeah,
it should be
I agree.
there, it should be 50.
Yeah, don't have a problem with that. Bennell's come on, had 4 and kicked a goal, and he's looked quite lively since he's been on the ground. Do you need a rest, though, if you're the sub?
I was wondering that.
Steve about that.
So he's obviously spent after a hell of a
That's just one less for the runner. That's just a team play. I'd say a strategy. You kick a goal, you come straight off.
Look at that relentless tackling for the Swans. Just 3 guys.
Thank you. Here we go. Ball's going up, boys. Punt.
So psychologically, the margin's on 100. So we'll just see whether Melbourne can get underneath it or not in the last 3 minutes. Teddy Richards. Now he's outnumbered here while she was bustled off the ball. Pretty well done too from Rivers. Helped out Jack Watts, who's up to 34 touches now. Frawley measures it for Bartram. Ball's been in there 70 times tonight to 32.
Yeah, that is a smacking, isn't it? 70 to 32. That is a smacking.
It's a bit of scoreboard action there.
That's old school, isn't it? We had a look at the 80s earlier, and that's what used to happen all the time.
I wonder if they did that in Canada as well, pointing to the scoreboard.
Maybe they did.
He's learned quick, hasn't he?
Learned quick, exactly. Look, he's been good tonight, Pike. He does really give it. He's had 11 disposals. He's given a real contest against Jamar.
Jamar gets it down. Chesky, Bennell's back on. And giving away a free.
And now it's just about the game petering out, John. I know, and getting hurt for both teams, really, and particularly John Longmire. You just wouldn't want to get any players injured at this particular stage. Maybe now you just chip the ball around a little bit and take the heat out of the game and try and graft a goal. That's not a great kick.
Grimes takes the mark. 2 to go. So the margin on 100. Let's see if they can get it under the 3 figures. Oh, they're going to get another 50. I think that's
That'll disappoint John Longmire, the fact that 2 50s
Just
this
unnecessary,
quarter.
yeah.
There we go.
Here's Shaw being hounded by Trengove. Clark for Davey. Low ball into the 50. Not quite that time for Howe. And so the Swans with the spillage. And they bolt again. Just bring each other into it. Hanbury back to O'Keefe. And they've retreated a long way here. And we've got there's an injury out there too. Liam Jarrah, I think, has another injury on his hands. Or his feet by the look of it. The play just went through him as he's being helped up by the trainers. Shaw.
Looking at his lower leg.
Bolton. And you said it was about no one getting hurt. Unfortunately, Jarrah has. Mitch Clark has had to wait and wait and wait. And in the end, he's gone for a big bomb to full forward. And Teddy Richards, it's still not under 100. He just saved the day on the very last line. He was concerned about the 100,
Yes, he was.
You might have scoffed at me.
No, I didn't.
Grundy Here's McVeigh. Now on the run, Shaw striding out. Had the girls in his sights, but just misses.
Yeah, the game's just starting to get a little bit messy as we see Jara there coming off. Here it is here.
Yeah, Roosie just...
Is that knee or ankle?
I think it's his...
Ankle, is it?
Yeah, it goes to just above the ankle.
Yeah.
Here's Sylvia, 37 seconds. Lees keeps it low for Davies. Davey just got himself in the good position against Richards, but the long arms and the experience of Richards did enough.
But that's typified the Swans' effort tonight. Teddy Richards, great spoil. Here it is here. He's stiff not to get a free kick, Jara, there too.
Really jolted the legs.
Just that landing leg.
Yeah.
Pike, Hanbury, good awareness. Parker, McLean, Bird, and O'Keefe sends it over and out. So 101 points the margin here. There will be bigger and better games over the rest of this very big weekend coming up. It's been another miserable night for Melbourne. 8 losses to start the season. The Swans are back on track with a 101-point victory, celebrating 30 years here at the SCG. Final score 21-12, 138 to 5-7-37.
Fans enjoying the song. They've enjoyed the game, the Sydney fans.
There's the coach.
Yeah, look at that. You got to feel for him, and that's a really tough situation for him to be in. He's come into a club as a first-time coach. Club under pressure from last year. The coach was sacked, with a number of games to go at the end of last year. They've got some young players that have done pretty well, but certainly they've struggled.
Let's get down to Liam.
Yeah, well, Kieran, that was a terrific win. Set up a really good first quarter.
Yeah, mate, it was. I mean, our first quarters the last couple of weeks have been really poor, so we wanted to make amends of that. Last week was pretty embarrassing by our standards and what we set up here, so yeah, really important the boys came out and stepped it up.
You had a real focus. Your midfield, you got your little mate there, Danny Hanbury. It's good you're all kicking goals, though. It's terrific.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's probably the strength of ours. We want to be able to push hard defensively and also push forward and kick some goals. Joey Kennedy's been doing it for weeks, and it's about time blokes like myself started to stand up.
Yeah, well, Big Mike Pike did a good job, I thought, against J-Mar tonight as well.
Yeah, he did. All we wanted from Pikey was an honest contest. He did that. He's doing really well.
What about your Irish mate, Tommy Walsh? First game. I'm half tempted to go and maybe have a chat with him. How's he going, the old yap?
No, he's got plenty of confidence, Tommy Walsh. Go and have a chat to him. It's great for him. He's worked really hard since he's been here. All he wanted to do was get his first game, and it's finally happened, so really wrapped for him.
Well played again tonight yourself, mate. You're terrific.
Thanks, biggest tough.
Shake down the thunder.